All right, continuing on with part 3, chapter 3, The Drinker or the Drink, part 2, The Drink. First you take a drink, then the drink takes a drink, then the drink takes you. F. Scott Fitzgerald. A Dangerous Delight, The Nectar of Death. Alan Carr, an author and addiction expert best known for helping smokers overcome nicotine addiction, uses a perfect analogy for how addiction works: the pitcher plant. This analogy is powerful, both in making sense of your addiction in your conscious mind and in reconditioning your unconscious mind. Have you heard of the pitcher plant? It's a deadly meat-eating plant native to India, Madagascar, and Australia. Imagine you are walking by a Krispy Kreme donut shop and you smell the donuts frying. It's hard to resist the smell of donuts. A pitcher plant is like Krispy Kreme for insects. You are an unsuspecting bumblebee flying through the woods. Suddenly, you fly through a blissfully perfumed air. It makes your little bee tummy start to rumble, and you want to get a taste. You fly closer to the plant. It looks like a delicious treat of fresh nectar. It smells great. To get a taste, you must fly inside the rim. You land on the nectar and start to drink, but you don't notice the gradual slope under your feet. You are caught up in the moment, enjoying the treat, and begin to slide down the plant without realizing it. You only notice the intoxicating nectar. Then you begin to sense the slight slide, gravity conspiring against you, but you have wings. You are confident you can fly out of the plant any time. You just need a few more sips. The nectar is good, so why not enjoy it? You think, as most drinkers do, that you're in control. You can leave the plant at any time. Eventually, the slope becomes very steep and the daylight seems further away as darkness closes in around you. You stop drinking just enough to see dead, floating bodies of other bees and insects around you. You realize you are not enjoying a drink. You are drinking the juice of other dead and dissolving bees. You are the drink. But can't we have the best of both worlds? Enjoy the nectar and then fly away? Maybe you can put limits on yourself and monitor your intake. Tons of people can do this and do it well for a while until things change in their lives and then some additional stressor or a tragedy pops up. Or perhaps nothing changes at all. Like me, you gradually find you are drinking more than you ever set out to. All doctors and alcohol experts agree that alcohol is addictive. How many people do you know who drink consistently less over time? For the moment, let's focus on responsible adult drinking patterns. Sure, students are well known for binging while attending university, leaving the party-heavy environment for frat houses for steady jobs, leaving the party-heavy environment of frat houses for steady jobs, and family life can reset the amount they regularly drink. But once they've set their long-term patterns, isn't it true that people tend to drink more over time and not less? We used to tease one of my friends because she was tipsy after half a glass of wine. Her low tolerance was the butt of jokes for years. However, when I saw her last week, she drank 2 large glasses at dinner and felt sober enough to drive home. Alcohol is addictive, and your tolerances increase over time. It's a dangerous road no matter how little you drink or how in control you think you are. In fact, recent neurological studies demonstrate that the brain changes in response to alcohol. These changes increase tolerance, diminish the pleasure derived from drinking, and affect the brain's ability to exercise self-control. We will talk in detail about the effects of alcohol on the brain in a later chapter. Neglected warning: the homeless drunk. Why aren't we forewarned by the dead bees at the bottom of the pitcher plant? We have all seen people who've lost everything to addiction, who beg on the street with a bottle of booze in a brown paper bag. Isn't this vagabond like the rotting bodies of the other trapped bees? Does this person help us to see the danger? Perhaps for a few, but most of us hide behind the arbitrary line we have drawn between alcoholics and regular drinkers. We don't blame the addictive drug in our glass. Instead, we believe there is something wrong with the addict on the street. Thinking the alcohol on the street is different allows us to believe ourselves to be immune. What has happened to him cannot possibly happen to us. We are not in danger of becoming one of those people. Of course, we don't know his backstory, that he was a smart, successful businessman with a growing family. We don't know how alcohol ensnared him, and he lost everything to the most accepted, deadly, and widely used of all drugs. Let's look at it a different way. We see the homeless man on the street like a bee views an ant that has crawled into the pitcher plant. The ant doesn't have wings, therefore he is not like me, the bee. I have wings. I am in control. I can escape whenever I want to. But in reality, both the ant and the bee are in mortal danger. The last time I was on the Las Vegas Strip, everyone everywhere was drinking. I mean, hey, it is Vegas. The drinks come in all varieties. The drinkers come in varieties, from giggling girls with the yards of fruity drinks to the bachelor party boys with their 40-ounce beers. They were young, vibrant, and full of life. I watched them walk right by a beggar with his bed on the street. He had no food but clutched a bottle of alcohol hidden in his paper bag. It was clear to any passerby that drinking had destroyed his life. All the regular drinkers looked directly at him. Many gave him spare change, but did they question the substance in their own cups? Did they realize they were drinking the same life-destroying poison as the homeless man? Did it prevent them from ordering their next drink? Sadly, no. The Descent. When do I lose control? It is hard to accept that the youngsters experimenting with alcohol are like the bee landing on the edge of the plant and tasting the nectar. Is it hard? That homeless man begging for food is just a more advanced stage in his descent. The recent study by the Prevention Research and Methodology Center at the Pennsylvania State University measured the college binge drinking habits of students whose parents had allowed them to drink in high school. The findings demonstrate that teens who drink in high school have a significantly higher risk of binging in college. The study also confirms how much influence parental behavior has on teenagers and children. And it's not just boys modeling their dads or girls modeling their moms. If either parent drinks at home, both the son and the daughter are influenced. Starting to drink in high school leads to more drinking in college. Why? Because the descent begins at an early age. Kids enter the college years further down the slope than those who waited until college to sample the nectar. I didn't realize how my drinking increased over time. I shut my mind to the fact that I was drinking more than I ever had anticipated. Are you drinking more or less than you did 3, 5, or 10 years ago? What about your friends? Are they drinking at the same level, or do they drink more as time goes on? When we realize we are drinking more than we want, we begin to battle the battle to quit or cut back. But like the bee in the pitcher plant, the more we struggle, the more stuck we become. And yeah, I drink more. It's easy to see. I've never drank less over the years. And when I was young in my 20s and 30s, I said, well, I have plenty of time. I'm not an alcoholic or anything. I am in control. Definitely thought that. But boy, once I retired and started drinking 8 to 10 beers a day, the brain goes to mush. And next thing you know, you get bored. You want to do it more and more. So this book, and just be diligent. Let's go. Continuing on. Blah, 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 blah. When does the bee lose control? When she begins her gradual slide downward? When she tries to fly away and is unable to? That's certainly when the panic sets in, but it's clear she lost control well before she realized it, prior to the point she couldn't physically escape. As Alan Carr theorizes, perhaps from the moment she landed on the pitcher plant, the bee was never in control. When did you lose control? When was the first time your spouse commented on your drinking, or someone noticed the smell? When you drank so much you threw up? Again, perhaps on your partner. When you got a DUI? Maybe you feel like you are still in control. I'm not asking when you realized you had a problem. That was most likely a definitive moment. Another hangover, blackout, or even wrecking your car. Losing control is different than realizing you have lost control. So when was it? Are we always in control? No one insists we drink. No one holds a gun to our heads. But if we are in control, aren't alcoholics also in control? But no one forces them to drink. But that has to be something different, right? Is it? Or are there just different levels of the same thing? From the outside, no one would have guessed how much I was drinking. I was a high-functioning alcoholic. I didn't lose my job or miss a single meeting because of alcohol. In fact, I excelled in my job and was frequently promoted. I didn't drink and drive. I did. There were few outward signs of how much I drank. Did that mean I didn't struggle, or that the alcohol wasn't slowly killing me? On the contrary. Perhaps it's like the story of the boiling frog. A frog is placed in a pot of cold water and then moved onto the hot stove. The water heats up, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't realize he's boiling to death. Could it be that 80% of the adults who drink are like the frog? Are we all in the same pot of slowly boiling water? So when did you lose control of your drinking? When you experienced a life crisis related to alcohol? When you realized it was hurting your health? Or you decided to cut back? No. it must have been before that, because if you were truly in control, you would not have allowed any of those things to happen. When exactly was it? Can you pinpoint it? Chances are you don't know when normal, habitual drinking became a problem. Can you entertain the possibility that you may never feel in control? Like that B, you are not in control of alcohol, but alcohol is controlling you? And if you are certain that you are still in control and can stop whenever you want to, are you certain you will still be able to next week or next year? Are you willing to bet your life on it? I mean, for me, when I know I lost control, it's just when I just feel disgusting and unhealthy inside. My organs are just beat, and I want to feel healthy, and that's the main thing. I love drinking, but I want to feel healthy. It's ridiculous that I would like drinking more than my health. I used to value and put so much pressure on being healthy on my life, and man, I've slipped so much. So yeah, I'm out of control. Getting control back now. Let's go. Finding freedom. You can do this. You still have many questions. What about the addictive personality? What about the fact that some people have different backgrounds and reasons for drinking? What about our intellect? Intellect? Intellect. Surely we are smarter than a bee. What about all the people who enjoy a single drink with dinner and never seem to slide further down? What about all the people who actually seem to be able to take it or leave it? We cover those questions in future chapters, but for now, consider the possibility that we are human, and since alcohol is addictive to humans, once we begin to drink, we unconsciously begin the slow slide into addiction. Does this mean everyone descends at the same rate, or that everyone reaches the bottom? No. Many will drink throughout their lives and never reach a point where they try to stop. Maybe this means they are sliding at a very slow pace, or maybe it means that the alcohol kills them before they realize they have become dependent. Many factors contribute to the speed of a person's slide, and we will expose those factors in detail. Keep asking these questions. Critical thought is the key to understanding. What is important now is that you can see the alcohol is an addictive substance whose nature does not change depending on who drinks it. That means you are not weak. It is not your willpower or character that is lacking. You are as much at fault in the situation as the bumblebee that is instinctively enticed by the nectar of the pitcher plant. Insects in the pitcher plant do not have hope. They don't have the intellectual ability to understand and therefore escape their tragic fate. We do. We as humans have the intelligence and ability to understand what is happening in our minds and bodies. I know the pitcher plant is terrifying, but be hopeful. You can find freedom, and it may be one of the most joyful experiences in your life. When I found freedom from alcohol, I felt euphoric. The realization dawned, and I cried tears of joy. You probably still believe alcohol benefits you in some way. So the idea of drinking less or quitting alcohol altogether is uncomfortable. I can relate. It is terrifying to think about giving up something that you feel brings you pleasure or relief. It's okay. When you understand the concepts in this book, you will not feel any apprehension, only joy. Hope is stronger than fear. Try to maintain a hopeful outlook. And remember, this is not your fault. You have been caught in a deadly trap that was designed to ensnare and slowly kill you. It is the subtle and insidious, and millions of people are deceived by it every day. The trap is designed to keep you a prisoner for life, and by making you believe that you drink because you want to. We will expose this truth. Wow, that was the whole chapter. And I'm so sorry for the first part of that chapter. The audio was terrible. Maybe I'll go back and re-record it at some point. But next up is going to be chapter 4. The liminal point is drinking a habit, and that is coming real soon, so stay tuned. Be getting these chapters coming every day now, and then I'm going to start throwing in some lectures here and there, little bits of philosophy, and I don't know, we could do a conspiracy theory or two. I don't know. We'll find out. All right. Bye.